Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of February 6th. This week, we are going to just take a look at your current general energies here. You have this mature man card. I always clarify these people cards that show up. So you have this occupation card as well. I feel for some of you, you are maturing in your occupation, as obvious as that sounds. Even though it says mature man, it doesn't matter what your gender is. I feel like some of you, it's like you've reached a certain point in your career or what it is that you do. Yeah, and I feel like you have to take a risk at this point. I always say this to you, but it's really what I feel, Leo. It's like some sort of risk would kind of really take you to the next level. I also feel that creativity and clearly inspiration. You have inspiration, and the Ace of Wands also represents inspiration or something that does inspire you to take action. And so I kind of feel like working with those energies would be very beneficial, but definitely your creative ideas, I think, could be very profitable for you, especially if you have a business, but even in just career, even in your love life, like coming up with solutions that are more creative, I feel would be very beneficial with this energy. But again, I wouldn't do what makes you busy is what I'm getting. I would do the things that work, in your life. And I think doing those things is going to make you much more successful with this energy. You have the Hierophant, the Ace of Wands, and the Two of Cups. You also have Hierophant, High Priestess. Doesn't matter what gender you're interested in. Definitely could be a very strong spiritual connection. Some of you could already be in this spiritual connection. Some of you are clearly getting into this spiritual connection that could be coming in for you. And I feel like you two complement each other well is what I would say. For some of you, it's interesting because I feel like you might have some options, in love. But I feel like if you look at your options, if you have options, it's like one person, it's almost as if they complement you better than anyone else. Any of the, you could have, even if you had a million options, right? I feel like there's just like this one person, this High Priestess energy, and they might not be a Pisces, just so you know. Taurus, you have Aries here, Capricorn, they could have those planets or those signs in their chart. They could be an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo with a World card or a Capricorn. So those are the signs that stand out to me, but I kind of feel like they complement you well. It's like what you don't, where they make up for your where you have no skills or whatever, and I feel like you do that for them as well. It's like you balance each other out in that way. So if you're looking for love, I definitely love. You have the Ace of Wands here. Again, I feel like it could be a very passionate week for you just in general. But most importantly, sometimes I feel with the Ace of Wands that it just represents that spark of inspiration, and it definitely for you, because you have that inspiration card. It literally says a spark of inspiration will ignite brilliant new ideas. I think your past 3 readings have been about ideas, right? And these ideas could be coming out of nowhere. Like you could all of a sudden just have sudden insights that you don't know where you got those things from. And I feel like these are insights that maybe you were born with, but maybe you're now awakening to them. Pretty powerful stuff, actually, Leo. I know that, again, whenever I do these readings where I talk about ideas, they get like no views for whatever reason, but what I would say here is I feel like it's really important. I would be like following those like random, all of a sudden out of nowhere hunches. It could be gut feelings as well or something like that. And you have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups can definitely be love, but the Two of Cups can also be you and your higher self. I always say that to me, it's you and your higher self communicating. And so I feel like your higher self is communicating with you maybe through hunches or through intuitive feelings. And I would be following this intuitive guidance, whatever you want to call it. With the High Priestess, I almost just said the High Priestess. With the Hierophant, which is the High Priest, you have the King of Cups. Could be a water sign coming in for you. You have all the kings almost now as well. So actually only 2, but, Emperor energy. The King of Cups would be someone who's very stable emotionally. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you're attracted to. I also feel like this person is adventurous. The King of Cups, he normally has a boat behind him. With the King of Cups, it is adventure. That boat represents adventure, but it's kind of more, they might not travel. It might be that they are adventurous and trying new things, which could just be right where you are, So it could be that type of adventure. I feel like they're not afraid to explore or have new experiences. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Hangman. You are being enlightened to something. The Hangman, normally his head is glowing, and he puts himself in Hangman mode to gain enlightenment. And he also makes, he's sacrificing the use of movement. So I kind of feel like some of you have been maybe feeling stuck, or maybe you've been feeling like you haven't been moving forward. But clearly there's inspiration. Again, his head is glowing. He's been inspired. He knows what he needs to do now. So if you're getting any crazy ideas, I would be moving towards those ideas. And are you kidding me? With the Two of Cups, you have the star. There you go. The star is like your North Star, the thing that guides you towards abundance and success. There's clearly something very inspirational, another card of inspiration coming in for you here. So I would follow your inspirations this week. That seems to be clearly a major message for you. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this freedom card. I do feel like you are feeling kind of more set free, but at the same time, I feel like you're kind of getting some sort of boost here. Could be in your finances. It's almost like it carries you forward. That's how I see it. I don't know how else to say what I'm feeling, but it's kind of funny because I just said to Aries that it's almost like something is buying you time. I almost feel like the same thing here for you, but it's different. It's almost like you could be getting a reward of money, or maybe you're just making more money in your business, or you get like a little bit of a boost. And I feel like it kind of it almost is like extending your timeline, and it's giving you some freedom maybe to be creative, because I feel like you need to tap into your creative potential right now. It's like slamming me in the head. That message is like pouring in that you need to be creative, or that, it could just be that there are very creative solutions to the things that you're dealing with. And, creative solutions typically are like the best solutions. You have the High Priestess, the King of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. I feel like you need to trust your intuition as always. As I always say, to me, you, Leo, you are the most underrated intuitive in the zodiac. So I feel like you are very intuitive. I feel like your intuition is on point. I do feel like there are a lot of mysteries in life in general. I think this is true for everyone, but I feel like it's extra true for you. Sometimes, there's a way to read the High Priestess that her back is to the world, and you have the World card next in this diagonal right here. So the whole point is that maybe she needs to make up her own mind, right? She has to tune out the world. She shouldn't listen to anything that's behind her. She only needs to listen to what's in front of her and what she imagines as well. She has 3 stages of the moon on her crown, and it represents the fact that she sees the beginning and middle and end of every situation she enters into before she enters into it, meaning she creates her own reality with her brain. So I feel for a lot of you, that kind of using your powers of manifestation would be very beneficial, but also using kind of like visualization would be powerful as well. You have the King of Pentacles. You always get the King of Pentacles with me. I'm always telling you to leave a comfort zone or to do something new, so there you go. I do feel like there is a lot of financial success coming in for you just in general. And like I said at the beginning of the reading, I would take some sort of risk here. The Five of Swords is a card of like winning at all costs, or trying to win at all costs. I do feel like it is, I do get a little bit of energy of like trying to force something to work, but I also feel taking a risk of, putting yourself out there in work or business, or just taking the risk of doing something new or doing something different. I feel that'll be like ridiculously helpful for you this week, Leo. I feel it'll lead to a lot of success. With the High Priestess, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, being bold, being assertive, really finding success. I feel like confidence is super important at this time. Again, this is something that I feel is kind of collective, but at the same time, anything that you want to do, if you move towards it boldly and confidently, you will be successful. I also feel like you're just kind of showing up in a very strong position here. This would put you in a position of power and strength. Also, we're one king away from having another emperor here. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Devil. Definitely could be a Capricorn or someone with Capricorn in their chart coming in for you in love. I would also be careful of anything that steals your energy. One of my, just like kind of intuitively, I feel that one thing that could trip us up right now is getting distracted by things that are maybe not toxic, like devil, but just distractions, right? So I would just be careful of anything that is a distraction. Whatever that means for you. It could be TV, video games. It might just be people, or it might be the news, right? It's like, I don't watch the news personally, because if I watch the news, then it makes me feel bad, right? And then I'm just distracted. I can't get anything done after that. So I would be very protective of your thoughts, of all that stuff. With the Five of Swords, you have the Page of Swords here. Yeah, you have the Page of Swords twice in your reading. I do feel like this is encouraging curiosity because of the High Priestess. The High Priestess, we don't know what's behind her. You have to go on the journey to discover what is behind her. And so how do we do that with the High Priestess? How do we go on that journey? Well, we have to look at things that have potential. I feel like some of you could be getting an opportunity this week, like in work, business, love, or whatever, that has a lot of potential. And you will feel like it has a lot of potential. The problem is potential, because potential means nothing. It's like, yeah, something can have potential, but it's going to require your work. So I think embracing those opportunities that are just potential could be a good idea. Next, in the area of critical information that you need to hear right now. You have this, the end of a tough cycle is finally approaching. Like I said, I got this extension of time on that freedom card. I feel like this kind of ties into that. You also have this inspiration. It says, a spark of inspiration will ignite brilliant new ideas. It is essential that you are clear about what you want. Follow your heart. So I feel for a lot of, didn't I say that? Follow your heart just a second ago. I feel like that is like this, just totally the best thing that any of us could do with Pluto going into Aquarius, your opposite sign. So I would follow your heart. I would listen to what your heart tells you to do, how it guides you, what it wants you to do, like all that stuff. I feel will just lead to a lot more kind of abundance and success in your life. The thing is again, I do feel like a lot of us could be being inspired towards things with the Eight of Cups, for example, where, maybe nobody understands what you're doing, and that's perfectly fine. So I think you just need to understand that it doesn't matter if people don't understand what you're doing in life. It's the only person that needs to know what they're doing is you. So as long as you know what you're doing, which you do, clearly, then you're going to be successful. I do feel for some of you, if you are attracting love, maybe you've given up on love, or again, I kind of get this, it's either you or them. I'm not, take it how it resonates, but I feel like it could be either you have recently, I don't think you've given up on love, but maybe you've kind of been like, whatever, I'm not going to put that much time into it, or you're attracting a person who has done something similar, where they're just kind of like, I'm not going to focus on this. It's like they're not looking for it, and maybe you're not looking for it, but that's usually when we find it, right? Next, you have the World, and I see some pretty big accomplishments coming in for you. It's almost like I see some accomplishments that kind of give you hope. You have the Star, this inspiration card. Inspiration usually gives us hope. It kind of motivates us to action. And if you've been feeling like unlucky, or if you've been feeling like things aren't going your way, or maybe you feel like the world is against you, I feel like that's turning around this week. I literally feel you will feel it this week. You will notice this change where you maybe you just feel a little bit more positive. It might be a small thing as well, but again, I think the important thing is that it motivates you to take action and gets you moving with this Emperor energy, and that's what I feel. I feel like something is kind of inspiring you to get off your butt, get moving, to make things happen, right? With the Eight of Cups, you have the Magician, a new beginning. There's clearly a new beginning coming in for you. I feel a lot of you have walked away from things that no longer serve you. Eight of Cups, then you have the Devil. And even if we go this direction, Devil, Eight of Cups this way, but also this way. So I feel for a lot of you, maybe you've cut like a tricky, toxic energy out of your life. I don't even think it has to be a person. For some of you, I feel it could be just like, maybe it could be your business or your job, or maybe it's the way that you've been doing your job or your business. I always tell people, it's like, obviously we need jobs and businesses to survive, most of us, right? And what I would say is, maybe it's toxic the way that you're doing it. That doesn't mean you have to leave. That means that you just have to change it, right? Maybe there just needs to be a reinvention. And the Magician represents a reinvention. Same thing with love as well. It's like sometimes I think we get into a relationship, maybe things aren't going the right direction, but if it's a positive relationship, maybe it just needs to be reinvented. Maybe we just need to communicate or talk about the problem or whatever the case may be. So I always tell people, if you have something good, but maybe it's just not what you want, maybe you want to try to change it first and then make your decision, right? With the World, you have the Five of Swords, yeah. Definitely time to take a risk. So I feel like some of you need to put yourself out there with the Five of Swords. As I always say, part of me feels like with Pluto going to Aquarius, again, one of the major things will be the risk of exposure. I think that the risk a lot of us could feel is the risk of being wrong, the risk of saying something on YouTube and looking stupid or, whatever. So it's like that could be one of the risks you're taking. With the Emperor, you have the Six of Swords. I thought you had something else, but you don't. But anyway, Six of Swords, moving on to calmer shores, improvements, good things coming in for you. So I feel like you're getting out of a choppy period of time and you're moving forward to a much better period of time. Again, with the Hangman as well, the Six of Swords can represent being stuck in the mud. Normally the guy, the ferryman in the back of the boat, he's got that stick, he's pushing the boat forward, but sometimes the Six of Swords can represent him getting stuck. not moving forward. And I kind of get that feeling where some of you, maybe that's how you've been feeling since like the summertime, is kind of what I feel. It's kind of like you're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, but things maybe are a little bit uncertain. Finally here, in the area of the good stuff, you have this flexible card. Yeah, I encourage everyone to be flexible, especially until like April, I would say. There could be just different ways of doing things in work or business, in your love life. And people who are flexible are going to be more successful, I feel. So I would definitely, don't be afraid of, trying different things in work or business or your career. Don't be afraid of doing things differently, because I feel like that's all going to lead to a lot of success for you, is just in being flexible, being open to different ways of doing things. You have the devil here. This is showing up in the good stuff. So again, I do feel number one, could be a Capricorn or a person who has Capricorn like in important parts of their chart. It could also just be you getting away from things that have been stealing your energy for too long. So I definitely feel that. I also get this energy of kind of bringing something into the world. These people on this card, they have animal horns, and it kind of represents our animal instincts, like our baser instincts. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes with the devil, I feel like it represents we need to take our energy from our creative nether regions. Those are the words I'm going to use on YouTube now. And we have to bring it up to our head, and we have to put it out into the world. So for some of you, I kind of feel like this could say that you have some very good creative ideas, but these ideas need to be presented to the world. You need to try them. You need to, put them outside of your body. You have the Page of Swords here. I would just explore, look at it like a novice. It's like, who cares if you make mistakes? Who cares if you're wrong about the things that you do, right? It's all learning. The Page of Swords has to put himself in a position to learn in the first place, which, I feel like that's what you're doing. I kind of feel like you want to avoid this. Again, even though this is the area of the good stuff, I feel like maybe you're being cautious because you want to avoid rushing or making a mistake. And I don't feel like that's a bad thing at all. I mean, it's like one of those things. I think you're just taking your time. I also do feel there could be communication rushing in. So if you're wanting love or if you're wanting to meet a person, it looks to me like there's a person who could be rushing in with communication. With the devil, you have the world. Again, definitely could be a Capricorn. World, devil, Capricorn energy. So take it how it resonates, but like I said earlier, there's like some sort of accomplishment, I feel, or it could be multiple accomplishments that are really motivating you, really making you feel good. With the Page of Wands, you have the Five of Wands. I do feel like some of you could be overcoming some sort of conflict, like if you've had an argument with a person or if you've had a falling out in a relationship. It doesn't have to be love, by the way. It could be like a friendship or something like that. I'm kind of getting that this could be an apology coming in for you this week. And again, this is the area of the good stuff, so I think it's going to be good. As always, I mean, literally every single reading I do for you, you have the Five of Wands. So this is my card that I call Indiana Jones. To me, Five of Wands says you need to go on some sort of crazy adventure to find your treasure in life. And I feel like there could be a lot of treasure for you, but you have to go on the adventure, right? With the Knight of Swords, you have the Empress, you have the Emperor and the Empress right next to each other, literally discovering your divine counterpart. You're like the second or third sign that's had this. So I don't know what's going on, but, we're getting close to Valentine's Day, I guess, but, I feel like there could be a lot of good love energy this week in general, just for everyone. But if you want love, there it is. Even if you don't want love, I love when these two come up together, especially when they're next to each other. To me, it represents a combination of both energies, like the creative side and the action side. So again, clearly, it's going to be a very important week for you to take action on your creative ideas. We talked about that 900 times during this reading, so I'm not going to beat you over the head with it again, but, that's what I'd be doing if I were you. So we're going to pull 3 questions. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Feel free to pause this reading if you need time to think of your questions. If you don't have questions, that's fine too. I'm going to put all 3 together at the end, just like a personalish reading. But for question number 1, pause, because I'm going to read. You have the 9 of Wands. I would say yes. I feel like you need to try again. So I literally have the words try again. I don't think this is like going back to an ex or something. I feel like this is saying, like, if you want love, try love again with a new person. If you want business, try business again. So I'd say yes. For question number 2, hell yes. Ace of Pentacles, definitely a very passionate, positive, new beginning. And for question number 3, yes, 9 of Pentacles. Putting this all together is actually pretty good. I love 2 9s. To me, 2 9s represents a new beginning. It's newness, basically. And the Ace of Pentacles literally is a card of a new opportunity. So I feel like there is a big new opportunity that you need to look out for here. And it's clearly something that you're working on or you could be working on, Leo.